Amanda Swalodoro, and I'm the social media director for Kick It.
Can you tell me about Kick It for a Cause?
Yeah, definitely. So it's founded in 2019 by a few Woburn High students. It's an annual kickball tournament that we hold that raises money and awareness for suicide prevention. All of our proceeds go to the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, as well as a few other mental health charities in the area. And we also work with a lot of other local charities, one being Maca's Mission, which focuses a lot on drug prevention, overdose awareness, stuff like that. Um, but as for Kick It, the past few years we've been growing each year for the tournament. Really fun day. We have a lot of local vendors come out. We have a lot of local officials come and speak, have shown a lot of support for our cause, which is really nice to have the town behind us. And we also get a lot of support from the schools, which is great as well. We have so many students coming in to play, to volunteer. Just to ref the games even. So everybody really loves to get involved. We're expecting a bigger turnout this year, just continuing with our trend. But yeah, it's a really great space for the community to come together, discuss mental health, suicide prevention, something that is near and dear to a lot of us working in the program, and just bring a little bit more awareness to the cause.
Can you tell me a little bit about your own mental health journey?
Sure. So I grew up playing sports. I was a competitive volleyball player, and a lot of my mental health struggles came in that format, like from an athlete's mindset. So I struggled a lot with how to cope with making mistakes and not being perfect on the court, just having an off day, coming to terms with you can work super hard, but it might not get the outcome you want, and just learning to let go of things I can't control. And to be honest, that combined with the pandemic, which happened while I was in high school, it really took a toll on my mental health. And it really brought me to a low place. But I did the work, I really was able to prioritize myself, learn that I don't have to be perfect. It's just a game. Like it really isn't that important. And that definitely helped me, as well as joining Kick It and just having that space to be open about my feelings and not feel like I'm crazy for feeling them, I guess. I think Kick It brought a level of awareness, at least to Woburn High and to my community and my like social circles that I don't feel was there before. So I really think, yeah, they just have done a great job with kind of opening up that conversation at like a younger age.
Do you think younger people are more open to talk about mental health than, people that are older?
From my experience, I do, just because I think we're growing up in an age where the mental health conversation is so important and it is stressed in so many different ways. Where for like something like my parents' generation, they're both Gen X, that wasn't necessarily a narrative that was in the media. And I do think a lot coming out of the pandemic, that is a childhood experience for people my age. I was still in high school. I have so many friends or like cousins and stuff, with siblings that are younger and experienced it in elementary school. And I think something that was great that came out of the pandemic was how much we stopped and paused and talked about mental health. Okay, how is this impacting us? How is this like changing our lives like different than they were before? How were we reacting to mental health pre-pandemic? All those conversations kind of got started because of that. And I think we're just more used to it. You know what I mean? We're more used to that being a narrative. We're more used to seeing it in the media. And I feel like just as a younger generation, it's not as taboo as it might be for some older people. But that was just my personal experience. I'm sure other people my age would say, I don't know about that. I don't necessarily agree. But in my community and in my circles, I definitely feel like being younger has helped and being more open about mental health.
Yeah, what would you say to any high schoolers or even college students going through a tough time?
It's temporary. It will get better. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. And I think that can be so hard to see in high school because you just don't really think about what happens after graduation. Like everything just feels so heavy because a lot of the times in your youth you haven't experienced this stuff before. So I would just remind someone that it's temporary. Your life will change. You're not going to be stuck in this position forever. And there is a way out of it. It is not as dire as it may seem in the moment.
You brought up the pandemic, and it was challenging for everyone, but you being in high school, what were some of the challenges you faced?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it was really hard. Just going back to what I mentioned earlier about volleyball, it interrupted my season, and at that time I was looking to get recruited and play in college, so that really threw a wrench in a lot of my plans, and it was really hard to cope with, to be honest. It also pushed my following high school season a few months, and there were just a lot of things that fell in between that made it really hard to cope with and accept that, hey, this is out of my control. I can't do anything about it. I have to adapt. And even like in school, like we would have, I was only in school for 2 out of the 5 days a week during my junior year. And we were let out of school at 12 p.m. each of those days.
Wow.
So yeah, it was nice from a just like a kid's perspective of, oh, I don't have to go to school that much. But it definitely was hard, not having that social interaction, feeling so isolated at such a young age. But I really think more than anything, the pandemic taught stability and the fact that, okay, something might completely change up your world. It entered tornado. You can still come out of it. You can still find ways to make it work. You can still find happiness within all that chaos. I think that's definitely something the pandemic helped me with. But I'll be honest, it took me a while to get there. It was really a tough thing to go through as a 16-year-old kid.
And for Kick It with a Cause and donating to the American Foundation of Suicide Prevention,
Mhm.
how does it feel to be a part of the suicide prevention conversation?
I definitely feel like there's a lot of responsibility that comes with it. I think it's such an important conversation, but I don't think that's necessarily like a bad responsibility. I think it's almost more of a privilege that I get to talk about it. My voice gets to contribute to this important cause. And I think it's so important that we have young people speaking on this because I'm the youngest of the team, but everyone is only about 2, 3 years older than me. A lot of just college kids now, all of us knew each other from school. So having those young voices in that conversation that sometimes can be dominated by older folks, I think is definitely important. And I think it's definitely a privilege that we get to be a part of it.
Yeah, where do you want to see the event in the next, say, 3 to 5 years?
That's a good question. I mean, I think we've been lucky that every year we've had growth in turnout, growth in the amount of vendors that want to participate, the amount of sponsors that want to help us out. It's been really cool to see how a community can rally around a cause, especially one that is relatively new. I mean, starting in 2019, that's not that much time to have had such good growth. So, in the next 3 to 5 years, I would hope that we can continue to stay on that same trajectory, continue to get more teams, continue to just reach more audiences. You know what I mean? I think something that Kick It is really good in is being like talking to the younger generation and getting younger kids to come and support this and learn about this. I would hope that in the next few years we can get a few more adult teams in there, definitely. I think it's important that we have older folks come and understand it and hear it from our perspective too. And so that would be my hope for the program. To be honest, I'm not super involved in the logistics of planning the tournament itself. So I think that a few other members of my team could give you a better answer on that. But just from my role on the team, I think that's somewhere I'd like to see it go for sure.
How can people reach out and learn more?
Visit us at Kick It for a Cause on Instagram. Also visit our website, kickitforacause.com. We're pretty active on social media, especially in the spring once the tournament gets closer. And you can reach out to us or our founder, Noah Dollywell. I believe his email is Noah at Kick It for a Cause. He is great at answering like questions about this stuff. I would say, is the most knowledgeable member of the team. Just going from the mental health space also to just the logistics of the nonprofit and the tournament itself.